وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab, last of the OSN Association, the Registrar of the University of Glory, Barrister Masoud Founder, the Dean of Student Affairs, Professor M.C. Yaku, the Dean of Faculty of Law, Professor Nima Abdullah Ibrahim, Father of the Day, Professor Zubair, Chairman of the Day, Honorable Justice Mahmoud Abdul distinguished head of departments, our amiable lecturers of the faculty, honorable guests, esteemed faculty members, distinguished scholars, respected law students, friends of legal academia, the cadets, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Allow me to extend a warm welcome to each of you as we gather here today for the 6th annual personality lecture of the Law Student Society, University of Ilorin. As the 28th president of this esteemed society, it fills me with immense pride to stand before you on this occasion, surrounded by individuals who share a deep commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. The annual personality lecture commenced in the 2017/2018 academic session, a brainchild born from the collective commitment to celebrate outstanding legal minds and provoke intellectual discourse. Before we delve into the theme of this year's lecture, allow me to reflect briefly on the remarkable legacy of past honorees and the profound impact that the annual personality lecture continues to imbibe in our society at large. In its inaugural year, we pay tribute to the esteemed Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, Professor Wahab WSN. The theme, Law and Society, Who Needs Whom, sets the tone for an annual tradition that will go on to shape our intellectual landscape. Distinguished jurist Kevin Pinero, SAN, graced the occasion, delivering a lecture that sparked contemplation and discourse, laying the foundation for what will become the cherished annual event. The legacy continued to unfold in the second edition, dedicated to the esteemed Professor Joshua Olukayode Olapike SAN, FCI-ARB, with the theme unveiling the untapped potential of the legal profession, a path to success. This edition welcomed the renowned jurist, Chief Aki Olujimi SAN, who shared insights that resonated with aspiring legal minds, giving us the world the untapped potential within the legal profession. The third edition was a poignant tribute to the Professor Emi Akambi, of blessed memory, a luminary whose legacy is etched in the annals of legal education. Professor Akambi's gentle demeanor and profound intellect endeared him to all who had the privilege of knowing him, and his legacy extends far beyond his scholarly achievements. He was not merely a legal luminary, he was a mentor and a guiding light for countless individuals who sought his wisdom and guidance, his dedication and a guiding light for countless individuals who sought his wisdom and guidance, and also his dedication to the pursuit of knowledge was marked only by his generosity of spirit. And his influence continues to shape the lives and careers of those. In the fourth annual personality lecture, we celebrated the trailblazing efforts of Professor Nima Abdullah Ibrahim, the first male dean of our esteemed faculty, the first male professor of law from the Ilorin Emirates at the Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin, affectionately known as the landlady. She embodies resilience, determination, virtue, and a pioneering spirit that inspires us all. The theme, Female Lawyers Breaking the Glass Ceiling, was aptly chosen as it was in celebration of a personality whose legacy is not only one of shattered glass ceiling, but also of inspiration and empowerment for aspiring female legal scholars. Mrs. Rose Abeyemi's eloquent address added layers of inspiration, turning that morning into a celebration of resilience and determination. The fifth annual personality lecture continued this legacy by honoring Professor Bashir Adeniyi Olupidon, exploring the constitutionality of euthanasia in Nigeria. The theme specifically in relation to the case of Mada Okonkwo, medical practitioners and practitioners Nigeria renters, provided a platform for profound discussions on the intersection of law and ethics. Professor A.O. Zambo, the guest lecturer, added depth to the dialogue with the expertise. Through insightful deliberations and scholarly exchanges, these annual lectures have served as a catalyst for intellectual engagement, critical reflection, and meaningful dialogue. They have provided a platform for thoughtful leaders, jurists, and scholars to address present issues facing our legal professions and society at large. As we honor the contribution of past honorees, we also reaffirm our collective commitment to nurturing a vibrant intellectual community that values diversity, inclusivity, and the pursuit of truth. This year, we have the distinct privilege of honoring a luminary in the field of Islamic jurisprudence, Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alaro, MNI, a scholar of unparalleled international repute and a personality whose influence extends far beyond the realms of academia. As we gather to explore the theme, revisiting Islamic legal education in Nigeria, we stand in awe of Professor Alaro's multifaceted brilliance, his versatile understanding of Islamic law, and his adeptness at navigating the nuances of legal scholarship. His gentle demeanor and unwavering commitment to academic rigor have endeared him to colleagues and students alike, earning him a place of reverence in the annals of legal academia. Professor Alaro's profound insights into Islamic jurisprudence serve as a guiding light for scholars and practitioners around the world, illuminating the path toward a deeper understanding of the intersection between law, religion, and society. Today, as we honor his remarkable achievements and celebrate his enduring legacy, we pay tribute to a scholar whose contributions have transcended boundaries and enriched the fabric of legal education in Nigeria and beyond. As we embark on this intellectual odyssey, guided by the profound insights of our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Abdulmoni A. Oba, for us, let us prepare ourselves for a moment of unparalleled intellectual richness. The theme, revisiting Islamic legal education in Nigeria, serves as our compass, guiding us through the pathways of history, tradition, and innovation. Finally, allow me to share a thought that encapsulates the essence of what awaits us. In a vast universe of legal knowledge, every lecture is a celestial event, and today's promises to be nothing short of a cosmic revelation. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Yes, thank you. That was a beautiful one from the President of Law Student Society. We can't be summarizing the honorees from the past events, annual public personality lecture. As Mr. President was giving his speech, we have the majestic we had the majestic entry of some personalities which I would like to recognize. We recognize the presence of Mr. Isaac Abdul-Karim, the chairman of Kwara State Muslim Stakeholders. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Please put your hands together. Put your hands together. I appreciate it. We equally appreciate the presence of our Auntie Yahya and Hamid, the retired Jam officer. Thank you so much for coming. Please, let's put your hands together, appreciating these individuals with great personalities. We also recognize Honorable Abdul Fattah Salman, an Esquire, ESQ. Thank you so much for coming. Last today, please, we can do better by putting our hands together for these great personalities. If we also want to become great personality one day, we have to also recognize the individuals who have been recognized by God himself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We equally recognize the presence of Professor Majida Abdurrahim. Medina, sorry for that. Professor Medina Abdurrahim, the HOD, head of department of chemistry. Please, let's put your hands together for her. We appreciate you now for coming. Likewise, we recognize the presence of Mr. Sulaiman Jabata ESP as well. Thank you so much for coming. We recognize and appreciate the presence of Dr. Abdulkarim Abdulrazak, lecturer at the Department of Public Administration. Thank you so much for coming. We recognize the presence and appreciate the presence of Mr. Abdulrahim Abdulsalam, ESP legal practitioner from Fatima Abdulrazak and Co. Please put your hands together for all these persons. Likewise, we recognize the presence of Dr. Abdulhamid Bagnas Yusuf, the Sultan of Art. Thank you so much for coming, sir. We appreciate everyone of you. Likewise, we recognize the presence of MSSN experts. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all. Now we are moving on. Yes, we are moving on to the next thing on the agenda, which is the Dean's speech. And of course, I am skeptical of inviting, so that I will be invited to the Dean's office. The young lady, the young lady of our time, Professor Nina Mudupe, please do it to put your hands together to appreciate our mother, Professor Nina Mudupe. Put your hands together very well for her. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. You can do it. Thank you so much, brother.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The chairman of this occasion, Madam Justice Mahmoud Abdul Ghaffar, the father of the day, our very own Professor Abdul Zuba, you are welcome back home, sir. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab Olashuko Egbewo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is presently represented by my humble self today, he sends his unreserved apology for his inability to be here because of other pressing official assignments. The heads of departments, professors and other colleagues, the Lord, spiritual and temporal, members of the inner and outer guard here present, great students of this noble faculty, other members of the university community, gentlemen of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to yet another personality lecture organized by the Law Student Society of the Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin branch. This lecture is the sixth in this series. The first was in honor of law, but I pray that our great and visionary leader, the Vice Chancellor of this citadel of Ghana, Professor Wahab Olashuko Egbewo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The second was in honor of an eminent legal profession, legal practitioner, Professor Joshua Olukayode Olatope. The third was in honor of the late Vice Chancellor of Kwara State University, Nalete, and the giant member of the faculty, Professor Muhammad Mustafa Obaluya. The good Lord continue to shower his mercy on him. The fourth, of course, was in honor of the one proudly standing before you, named Ojupe Abdurrahim, while the fifth was in honor of one of our distinguished alumni and a respectable member of this faculty, Professor Bashir Adeniji Omefigan. Today's lecture in the series is a fitting tribute to a distinguished personality and a great member of this faculty, Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alaro MNI, who has made immense and indelible contributions to the development of Islamic law and jurisprudence in Nigeria and beyond. I am therefore deeply honored to stand before you today as the Dean of the Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin, on this auspicious occasion organized by the Law Student Society. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to reiterate that we are gathered here to celebrate and honor an esteemed member of our faculty, Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alaro MNI, a man of great intellect and integrity, an erudite scholar of Islamic law, who has traversed the nook and cranny of this country and beyond on the teaching of Islamic law. Professor Alaro is a renowned scholar of Islamic law, an academic par excellence, a great teacher, author, and an advocate of international repute. He has published extensively on various aspects of Islamic law, such as inheritance, banking, finance, human rights, constitutionalism, and legal pluralism. No wonder our guest lecturer of today is not far from the areas of his interest. Professor Alaro has taught and mentored generations of law students, inspiring them with his passion, wisdom, and integrity. He has served the University of Ilorin and the Nigerian Bar Association in various capacities, demonstrating his leadership and professionalism. He has also been involved in several national and international initiatives to promote dialogue, understanding, and cooperation among different legal systems and culture. Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro contributions to the field of law and his unwavering commitment to the pursuit of justice and truth have left an indelible mark on our institution and the legal profession at large. His dedication to teaching and mentoring the next generation of legal minds is truly commendable. The Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin, is indeed privileged to have Professor Alaro as a colleague and a friend together. Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro is an embodiment of the values of excellent scholarship, service, and piety, which is cherished and upheld by all. These qualities endear him as a role model for all in the Faculty of Law specifically and the University of the Learning Community generally. Sir, we are proud to be associated with your achievements here and elsewhere, and we truly celebrate your legacies. Ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly mention that today's personality lecture is not just a tribute to Professor Alaro, but also a testimony to the values we uphold in our great faculty, namely the pursuit of knowledge, commitment to justice, and dedication to service. Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro embodies and instills all of these values in his students, just as the Vice Chancellor of this university and our amiable guest lecturer, among others in the faculty. Therefore, as we delve into the insight and wisdom that will be shared today, let us remember that we are not just honoring a man in person of Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro, but the ideals he represents. I therefore advise that we strive to emulate Professor Alaro's dedication, his passion for justice, and commitment to the rule of law. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the entire staff of the Faculty of Law, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Law Student Society for considering our amiable, distinguished, and outstanding scholar of international repute, Professor Abdul-Majid Alaro, MNI, worthy of today's honor. I am sure that this lecture will be enlightening, stimulating, and beneficial for all of us, considering the pedigree of our today's guest lecturer, Professor Abdul-Mumini Adebayo Oba. I urge you all to pay attention and participate actively in the discussion. I thank everyone present for your support and participation. Once again, I welcome you all to this personality lecture, and I wish you a fruitful and enjoyable session. Thank you all, and God bless you.
That was a beautiful one from the Dean of Faculty of Law. Please, you can do better. Let's turn it together and sing for us.
I would like to recognize the host of our special guest, Lady Tarada. We welcome the presence of Dr. Omoyane from Al-Hikmah University. Jazakumullahu khairan for joining us. Likewise, Dr. Muhammad Jami Salman. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum. Likewise, Dr. Suleiman Kudus Al-Qawawi, Jazakumullahu khairan. Likewise, Dr. Abdul Karim Moma. Likewise, Al-Haji Naim Alaya, Al-Haji Abdul Fattah Olamati Salman, Jazakumullahu khairan. We are really glad to have you here. DSC Abdul Karim Abdul Ghani, Jazakumullahu khairan. Al-Haji Abdul Rahim Abu Bakr, الأستاذ مفتاح الدين عبد الوهاب from Al-Hikmah University. مرحبا بكم أهلا وسهلا. الحاج كمال الدين إبراهيم مرحبا بكم. And the host of the students from As-Sunnah Academy in Ilorin. جزاكم الله خيرا. أنتم كالملح في الدسم. مرحبا بكم أهلا وسهلا.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful one. Yes, we also recognize the presence of our press, the representative of Royal FM, Mr. V. Thank you so much for coming. Likewise, we recognize the presence of Mrs. Fatima Mohammed Nawal from News Agency of Nigeria. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, ma'am. Then we recognize the presence of the University of Ilorin, Mr. Mustafa Abubakar. Thank you so much. ICTV is also here, represented by the Silva Commissioner. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Then Ilorin FM, represented by Ajadi Oluwatodinova. Thank you so much. As the landlady and the higher lady of our hometown was delivering our speech, we are the majestic entity of some of our lecturers, our fathers. We recognize the presence of Dr. Tawfiq Abdullahim from the Department of Islamic Law. Please let's put it together for him. Thank you so much, sir. We also recognize the presence of Dr. Ismail Adwa from the party. Thank you so much. I hope Dr. Alaro will listen. Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. Also, we recognize the presence of Master Isabiru, Aribi, and also the presence of Alaro Abutodi. Yes, thank you so much. Then we recognize the presence of Backside Idris Alaro, former Eshe President. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate all of you.
In addition, specifically and categorically, I recognize the presence of our Sunnah students, the scholars of tomorrow. Welcome to this program.
Please, I would like you to recognize them our winners so we know that the dynamism is the faculty of law, so please.
نعم نقول نرحب بطلبة أكاديمية السنة إيلورين. مرحبا بكم. بارك الله فيكم ونفع الله بعلمكم.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful one. Then we are moving to the next program on the agenda, which is the chairman's opening remark. And this will be done by the chairman of today, the person of Honorable Justice Mahmoud Abdul-Ghaffar. Please let's put our hands together for my Lord, spiritual and temporal. Yes, Lord.
Professor Subai, the Dean Faculty of Law, Professor, the guest lecturers, and my learned brother, Justice Sale Uba. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first visit to the Faculty of Law. Because I have always believed that a judge's work is in his court. So anything that takes me out of my court, I don't welcome it. But when Professor Alaro spoke to me about this event, most of you know him as a scholar, but he is an online teacher to me. I have virtually listening to everything he has out there on the internet. So having benefited so much from you, I could not but honor the invitation. So with this favor, I declare this lecture open. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful word, my Lord. We are again, permit to recognize once again the presence of the father of today, Professor Zubair Abdul-Ghaffar, the professor, first professor in West Africa. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you so much, sir. Yes, without much ado, we are moving on to the next thing on the agenda, and that is the citation of the honoree. This is going to be read by a colleague of ours. Alright, we are going to read it Albania as well as English. This is going to be read by a colleague, a 500 level student. Abdullah Aziz Alaro, please put your hands together for him as he comes on stage to read the citation of the honoree. Thank you so much as you do so.
Good day, everyone. My name is Abdullah Aziz Alaro, a 500 level student. I'll come on at this. First, I'd like to say that this is a great privilege that I desire so much because I'm reading the citation, not only because I'm reading the citation, but because I'm reading the citation of my lecturer and my supervisor, an international. In the words of Dr. Mrs. Amale, our HOD of Islamic law, she said that this is one of the rare privileges where you get to tell your boss to stand up. This is why, sir, kindly be on your feet while I recite the citation. Professor Abdulrazak Abdulmajid Alaro, NMI, FIFB, FCPA, NIOD, CSA, FFIC. A multi-award-winning scholar, is Professor of Law, Sharia Consultant, Barrister, and Solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and an internationally certified arbitrator. He hails from Ilorin, Kwara State, and had a humble education background starting from Okepakata School and Muideen College for his primary and secondary school respectively. He started his university education as a law student at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. During his undergraduate at the ABU, his grades were recognized by the Islamic University of Medina, Saudi Arabia, which earned him an international scholarship to study at the University of Medina, Saudi Arabia, which he justified by completing his LLB with a first-class degree and as the best minority student in 1992. He later completed his LLM and PhD, also with distinctions, specializing in Islamic law of banking, insurance, and capital markets. Due to his burning passion for excellence in all that he does, Professor Alaro MLI has been duly recognized by several international professional bodies. He is a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitration UK, MCIARB, is an associate Chartered Institute of Arbitration UK, ACIARB, and a certified Islamic arbitrator and expert. In 2021, he delivered the 196th inaugural lecture of the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, titled Islamic Financial Services, the Interplay of Religion, Law, and Corporate Social Responsibility, the first to be delivered by a professor of Islamic Law, Banking, and Finance in the entire West Africa. Professor Alaro's expertise in Islamic banking and finance has also earned him invitations onto the board of several national regulatory bodies. Professor Alaro is a member of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Financial Regulation Advisory Council of Experts. He is a member of the National Insurance Commission's Takaful Advisory Council and has served as advisor consultant to the Debt Management Office, Securities and Exchange Commission, and the National Pension Commission, amongst others. He has also been invited to speak in many IAPAC fora, including International Sharia Scholars Forum in 2014, 2018, and 2020, where he was adjourned the best paper presenter. Also, the International Islamic Liquidity Management Roundtable on Sukuk in 2016 and on Repo Market in 2021. African International Conference on Islamic Finance in 2017, 2019, and 2023 respectively. School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS, workshop on Islamic Finance, University of London in 2020, and World Halal Expo in 2020. In 2022, Professor Alaro won 3 awards at international, national, and subnational levels. The Award of Excellence as one of the top 10 most outstanding alumni of the Islamic University of Medina, Saudi Arabia, in 2022. Membership of the National Institute, NNI, upon successful completion of Senior Executive Course 44 at the prestigious National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Guru, Nigeria, December 2022. Also, as the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Kwara State Government in December 2022. In May 2023, he won the Islamic University of Medina, Saudi Arabia Award of the alumnus with the most outstanding intellectual impact. Professor Alaro was also announced in 2018 as the overall winner of an international research competition organized by CBA here in Saudi Arabia. He was certified in 2021 by the Global University Network for Innovation and African Quality Assurance Network as an accreditor for universities and other institutions of higher education. In 2024, he was appointed as a member of the National Fatwa Committee of the Center for Islamic Middle Studies, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. On the African continent, Professor Alaro is the current head of research, studies and translation committee of the Union of African Scholars with headquarters in Bamako, Mali. He speaks and writes fluently in both English and Arabic, and he is happily married with children, amongst which we have an engineer and a doctor of optometry. We hereby present to you one of our students who has chosen to speak on his career, an international scholar who is in almost every part of the world.
That was a beautiful one. Don't stop now. Please put it up for Professor Alaro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, that is wonderful. Professor of Islamic law, is followed by excellent. The great intellect of great quality is followed by Islamic law and rights, and expert in Islamic law compliance. We appreciate our father, we appreciate our mentor, we appreciate him for his accurate. Thank you so much for accepting the honor that belongs to the society. That is not enough, but yes, thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, so show the dynamism of Lost Student Society that was read in English language. Now we have the Arabic version for our Sheikh. Because as I said earlier, I said we could speak in English language and Arabic language. So we are going to be reciting his citation in Arabic language. Please you can consider. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have the honor to recite the citation of my Sheikh in Arabic, but I do not have the guts to ask him to stand on madrasa level. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. هذه سيرة مختصرة شيخنا الأديب العليم المربي البروفيسور عبد الرزاق عبد المجيد Alaro. ميم نون ألف فا ألف فا سين با ألف ميم ألف ألف دال سين ألف فا نون ألف تا ألف. الأستاذ الدكتور عبد الرزاق عبد المجيد Alaro عضو المؤسسة الوطنية عالم متعدد الجوائز أستاذ القانون ومستشار شرعي ومحامي في المحكمة العليا النيجيرية ومحكم معتمد دوليا من مواليد إيلون عاصمة ولاية كوارا النيجيرية حيث درس في مدرسة أوكيباكاتا وكلية محيطين لتعليمه الابتدائي والثانوي على التوالي وخلال دراسته في السنة الأولى طالبا في كلية القانون بجامعة أحمد بلو في زامبيا النيجيرية فاز بمنحة دراسية دولية للدراسة في الجامعة الإسلامية في المدينة المنورة بالمملكة العربية السعودية حيث أكمل دراسته وحصل على درجة البكالوريوس في الشريعة بتقدير الامتياز مع مرتبة الشرف وكان أفضل خريج لعام 93 و900 وألف ميلادي. فيما بعد أكمل درجة الماجستير والدكتوراه أيضا بالامتياز متخصصا في فقه المعاملات المالية البنوك والتأمين وسوق رأس المال وله في كل ذلك بحوث منشورة في مجلات عالمية محكمة. وفي إبريل سنة 21 و2000 ميلادي قدم المحاضرة البروفيسورية التنسيبية رقم 96 و100 بجامعة إيلون نيجيريا بعنوان الخدمات المالية الإسلامية تفاعل بين الدين والقانون والمسؤولية الاجتماعية للشركات، وهي الأولى من نوعها تلقى من قبل أستاذ فقه البنوك والتمويل الإسلامي في غرب أفريقيا نيجيريا. الأستاذ الدكتور ألارو عضو في مجلس الخبراء الاستشاري للرقابة المالية في البنك المركزي النيجيري، وعضو في المجلس الاستشاري للتكافل التابع للهيئة الوطنية للتأمين، وقد عمل مستشارا في أوقات مختلفة للمكتب الوطني لإدارة الدين وهيئة الأوراق المالية البورصة والهيئة الوطنية للتقاعد وغيرها، وتمت دعوته أيضا للتحدث في العديد من المنتديات الدولية ذات التأثير الكبير، بما في ذلك منتدى علماء الشريعة الدولي في عام 14 و2000، وكذلك عام 18 و2000، وكذلك عام 20 و2000. وحوار طاولة المستدير حول السقوط في عام 16 و2000، وحول سوق إعادة الشراء الريب في عام 21 و2000، والمؤتمر الإفريقي الدولي حول التمويل الإسلامي في عام 17 و2000، وفي عام 19 و2000، وفي عام 13 و2000، وورشة العمل حول التمويل الإسلامي في جامعة لندن في عام 20 و2000، ومعرض الحراري العالمي في عام 20 و2000، وفي عام 22 و2000. فاز الأستاذ الدكتور ألارو بثلاث جوائز على المستوى الدولي والوطني والإقليمي: جائزة التميز كأحد أفضل 10 خريجين من الجامعة الإسلامية المدينة المنورة في جميع أنحاء العالم، عضوية المؤسسة الوطنية MNI ميم نون ألف بعد إتمامه بنجاح الدورة التنفيذية العليا 44 في المعهد الوطني للسياسات والدراسات الاستراحية. كما تم الإعلان عن اسم الأستاذ الدكتور ألارو في عام 18 و2000 فائزا بالمركز الأولى في مسابقة بحث دولية نظمتها لجنة الدعوة الإفريقية في رياض عاصمة المملكة العربية السعودية. حصل البروفيسور ألارو على شهادة في عام 21 و2000 من شبكة الجامعات العالمية للابتكار وشبكة الضمان للدولة الإفريقية أفريقيا كمقوم للجامعات والجهات التعليمية العليا الأخرى. وفي يناير سنة 24 و2000 تم تعيينه عضوا في لجنة الفتوى المدنية في مركز الدراسات الشرعية الإسلامية بجامعة أحمد بيرو بزاريا نيجيريا. وعلى مستوى القارة الإفريقية يتولى الأستاذ الدكتور ألارو حاليا منصب رئيس لجنة البحوث والدراسات والترجمة في اتحاد علماء إفريقيا والقارة اتحاد مكة عاصمة مالي، وهو كذلك رئيس هيئة التحرير مجلة علماء إفريقيا يتحدث ويكتب بطلاقة باللغتين الإنجليزية والعربية، وهو متزوج ولديه أولاد ولله الحمد وبارك الله فيهم. بدون لا وليست دونها.
Yeah, we can do better, even though we understand that we are taking schools in the as well as in London. You have to point it out. Yes.
أراد بحرك من يسقى بشربيه ورد موجودك ما قد فاته الأدب بالله حفظك من كيد ومن حسد فلتزدد المجد وليسهل لك الأرب فلتزدد المجد وليسهل لك الأرب.
Yeah, this is beautiful in Arabic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sheikh. Yes, sir. Yes, we are moving on to the next thing on the agenda, but before that, permit me to recognize the presence of Professor K.I. Alaro from the Department of Business Law. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so much. Likewise, I recognize the presence of Dr. Mahmoud Abdurrahim, General Manager for Gaming FM. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah, the next thing on the agenda will be an interlude, and that will be recitation appointment from a colleague of ours, Aisha Hassan and Yola. Please, let's put it together for Aisha Hassan and Yola as she comes on stage to recite a prayer. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for our once again. Thank you. This is not that easy.
Hi everybody. Yeah, this is supposed to be an interview actually. Okay. Good morning everybody. Good morning. Permit me to proceed on the already established protocol. My name is Hassan Aisha Nela, a 400 level student, combined law department. And the poem I have for you today is titled, Dare to Read to Lead, which is majorly inspired by our teachers, our leaders who are where they are today because of the power of reading, and also the position and value of reading in my religion and its goals. Assisting it is to travel the south, north, east, and west without taking a step. Smile, laugh, cry in the wildness of my imaginations, dine with the queens, meet with the kings, rule with the rulers, invent with the inventors, roll with the geniuses, while flipping through the pages of my books. Readers and leaders, they say, and yes, readers and leaders who shine in the armor of their creativity while reading to learn, to lead, to impact, to develop, to possess that which leads to success. Readers and leaders who have their names boldly written on rocks that time fades. Leaders and readers who read to stay alive in books after they are gone. You see, knowledge is the key to success that you need to possess, and maybe not. But well, I've never seen a true reader who is not a leader. Get lost in books, in pages. Awaken the leader in you, control with the power of word and creativity to rule your world. The very first word revealed to the believers was to read. To read in the name of our Lord who decreed our creation. The very commandment that changed narrations, made Bedouins kings who controlled territories, made important in nonentities, raised generations of humanities from criminalities and immorality to a high level of spirituality and morality. Read, read, and read. You can be anything you want to be by reading. Books no more, opening to be more. There is so much to learn across the sea, beyond the land. No one is an island, but trust me, books can take you to the islands. Reading takes you to places you can never imagine. Oh, you just marveled? Yeah, we have to solve the puzzle. Wonder not, when our leaders, our teachers, our fathers, mothers present here today speak differently, act differently, think differently. It is the power of reading. Reading strengthens the corpse of your imagination, the muscles of your speech, the bone of your creativity, the body of your productivity, the weight of your legacy. So, I tell you to read today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful point. Please always read so you can become leaders, because leaders of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Permit me to also recognize the presence of the branch manager of Giants Bank, Ajia Metu Abukari Sani. Thank you so much. As well as Imam Ali from Giants Bank as well. Thank you so much. So we are moving forward to the next thing on the agenda, which is the reason why most of us are here, and it is the lecture. This shall be delivered by our own professor from Jurisprudence and International Law, Professor of Legal Realism. Professor asks you what is the human in human rights. It is no other person but Professor A. Abimomi Oba. Please put your hands together. Thank you so much. You can do better, please. Thank you so much, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please, Milord, the chairman, father of the day, the honorary, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm very happy today in the sense that we are honoring somebody who Allah himself has honored. It's mere acknowledgement of the good things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had done for the honorary. And I'm glad that the citation has preceded. I think that the first time I met the honorary was in 2009. And my first impression was that of a brilliant young person. And I now remember that my good friend, Isa Ibrahim, had been telling me about him long before I met him. I also appreciate something. The honorary made a choice long ago. Instead of proceeding for LLB on my law at ABU, opted to go abroad. And that's a very important decision. I whispered to my students that if you choose a path, fees a really life, you can be sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate you. And you have seen it. I've seen many individuals who made choices like that. The one he opted for, he got. And the one he left, God dashed him. We are happy that he's a professor today. I must say that I'm happy. The chairman, we went back, I think 1966, we were in the same class in the primary school. So when I saw him as the chairman of the day, I was very happy. He's a lot today, but I remember one gentle, smallish person. You are very small in the class. He's one of the very brilliant people in the class. My Lord Justice Umar, we went back, we were in the ministry together. I left, but he stayed, and alhamdulillah is at the High Court today. Of course, I'm not too sure I should say anything about who else right. Because let me just talk like that. I said I find it difficult to talk about progress why you have the emotion. So what I noticed, Idris Alaro, I had somebody introduce you. How are you? We had a discussion last week, and he showed me a paper, and he talked about 2 generations of Saudi Middle East trade scholars. Professor Subai's generation, Professor Alaro's generation. And in the comparison, I'm happy that we have people following the footsteps of Professor Subai. I'm not very comfortable with this diverse audience. We not in the High Court, experts, common law. Our asserting should be our stars there. I saw beers that are longer than mine. So I said, this one today. And most importantly, I see the young students that I understand are from the Al-Sunnah Academy. Of course, our students, we have been in the business together, our colleagues. And I saw faces that made me happy from that room of those days. Dr. Abdani and my dear friend there, we were in the same class in those days. I want to say that Please, why is it? Maybe it's too noisy. My discussion is not a lecture really. It's a reminder of things we've been thinking about. When I say we, virtually all of us. And the first part will be the introduction. Okay, two parts. Under the first part, part one, introduction, historical perspective and background, and an assessment of the contemporary legal education in Nigeria. The second part is analysis. I'm not too sure that I have my thoughts together well collected in the second part. So let us do the first part and see what happens at the second part. What is the meaning of Islamic legal education? Or what is the meaning of Islamic education? I think that question begs another question. And the question is this: what are we doing here? What I mean by that is not, we know we are in this hall to celebrate somebody. But I'm asking, what are we doing on this world that we are? Human beings, what are we doing there? We know that we were not here originally. We are exiles here. And we are going back home. So I think that Islamic education is all about learning about the guidance to make a successful life that will lead to a successful life also in the hereafter. Now, Islamic legal education will be learning about what is expected of us. Now, I remember that, I can't remember whether it's Ashmawi or Lalari, he says that knowledge must precede action. In other words, a Muslim must know the legal value, the hukm of his action before he does that. So, legal education is to make us understand the legal value, status of our actions. Now, the acts in Islam have different classifications. We are familiar with two, which we say regularly. Allah, Allah. We are familiar with other classifications in between, Mubal, Babu, Mustahab. Now, I want to say that the Islamic legal education is supposed to explain this to us clearly so that we know the status of our activities. Now, the lecture is titled Revisiting Islamic Legal Education in Nigeria. Why revisiting? We are revisiting because the subject has been visited over and over again. A lot of scholars have discussed Islamic legal education in Nigeria. I want to mention some of them. There is Professor Abu Bakr of University of Maiduguri, who talked about, now we have three eras in Nigeria: colonial, pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial. Now, the colonial era, there was Kano Law School, where that was established purposely to train alkalis, bodies for northern Nigeria. I'm happy to say that my grandfather was a beneficiary of that program. It's not only my own grandfather, many of us here. I know the grandson of many alkalis So, I need you to, we discussed, it was called Catholic Law School. That's the popular name for it. I think it's Institute of Arabic and Islamic Studies or something, but it's generally known as Catholic Law School. Then, in the closer era, there was an important conference which ended up in a book edited by Sayyid Ali Rashid, Islamic Law in Nigeria, Application and Teaching. It was published in 1998, and that was my first acquaintance with Professor Dubai, who wrote a paper on the importance of Arabic in the learning of Sharia. There is Professor Yadundu, Professor Loide. Professor Loide wrote about Islamic education in Nigerian universities. One contribution of Professor Loide was that there was no BMAS for Islamic law. BMAS is the standard basic minimum academic standard designed by the AUs for entry program in the university. Professor Loide drew attention to the fact that there was no BMAS for Islamic law. For me, the university has a special meaning in the sense that in 2000, I attended the Commonwealth Conference, which I delivered a paper titled Lawyers, Legal Education and Islamic Law in Nigeria. That was my first publication related to Islamic legal education. Thereafter, I was at the Numbers Conference, and that ended up in a publication called Reconceptualizing Islamic Legal Education in Nigeria. Many of our colleagues here have worked on this topic. I'll mention a few, like Professor Ibrahim Imam, Jurist, 2016. Angela Baraka and Arius, they looked at Sharia education in the Nigerian law school. And one of the things they pointed out was that the rules of professional practice, professional conduct, says that it is not proper for a lawyer to engage in the practice of an aspect of law in which is not well versed. Today we have many lawyers appearing in Sharia cases when they are not versed in the law. I will conclude the review, not conclude the review, I remember to Professor Bika and Dr. Saddam. They looked at the position, the place of Madaris, our individuals in the Sharia legal education. Very good paper. The honorary himself visited this topic in the paper he presented exactly a year ago at the Akwasu in memory of Professor M.M. Akadi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to forgive and praise him in his favor. So the honorary delved into many aspects which we've been discussing, and he has his own perspectives here. Lastly, Idris Alaro presented a paper at a seminar in his university in Osun last week. He discussed many of the issues. And one of the things he said, and when we started discussing, he said he disagreed with one of our respected scholars on an issue. And I said, why? He said he doesn't think that you can combine Arabic and Islamic education successfully simultaneously. And I said, what's your advice? He said, like I can have a body for accountancy that Muslims too, Islamic practitioners too, should establish something like that for Islamic law. I said, you are not disagreeing with what has passed. We agreed on some things like the need for Sharia bar, professionalization of Islamic legal education. I said, you have just added another dimension to the discourse. You are in harmony with the previous discussion science. So, historical perspective, I want to say that our scholars in Islamic law who learned Islamic law in the Middle East, North Africa, they are quite familiar with the origins of Islamic legal education. Now, education at the prophetic era was different. Education in the areas of the companion was different from what you have today. People study under established scholars, and they receive certification that they are competent to teach others. I want to move to Nigeria. We have jumped many things. We have jumped the significance of places like Timbuktu and others in Islamic legal education. I'm not sure that many of our students know that Castina was a respectable, well-known place of learning in the pre-colonial era. And they produced scholars like Abubakar al-Hasnawi, who wrote a commentary, As'alul Badari, on the text, the Shadu Salih. Now, this is a very important work. For those who are interested, there is a book edited by Saga and Abdullahi Adam titled Islam and the History of Learning in Katsina State. You find the efforts, the achievements of Katsinawi scholars well documented there. I want to move to Sokoto Caliphate. Sokoto Caliphate had great scholars. For me, I'm used to consulting Abdullahi Fudi's Diyam Khan, because when we write about judiciary, we'll say that is the place to find references for judiciary under the Sokoto Caliphate. And their learning is apparent. You find references, constant references in their works to scholars like Ibn Far'un, Tafsiratul Hukam. You find reference to scholars like Qarafi. These are well-known scholars. And the Sokoto Caliphate scholars had access to many of the important books, especially of the Maliki school. Now, in the colonial era, I've talked about the Kano Law School. Kano Law School had a checkered history. The colonial masters, their own attitude to Islamic law is that they believe that Islamic law will wither away and disappear. So they did not want to encourage Islamic legal education. The Kano Law School was as a result of concerted efforts by people of northern Nigeria. So I want to say that if you compare us, I think that if you remove those who studied Islamic law from the Middle East, North Africa, I would say that the kind of learning that Sokoto scholars had those days we do not have now. And when colonial authorities came, they did indirect rule. One of the reasons for that was that they led a good administrative structures, and the judiciary is one of those structures. In fact, you'll find these colonial authorities commending over and over the learning of the Alifalis of the Sokoto Caliphate. Contemporary types and levels of Islamic legal education. I want to believe that if we start at the secondary school, we should look at the curriculum of secondary schools in Islamic studies. What is the Islamic law content of that syllabus? I see a lot of discussions about worship, about ethics, but the Islamic law aspects is very, very scanty, if at all it exists. So this should be one of the areas we should look at. Of course, there is also Arabic education in the secondary schools, but not many register for Arabic. At the same level as the madrasa, the illegals. Now, the illegal curriculum is not better for Islamic legal education than the secondary school curriculum. You find that if you learn, if you go to illegal, probably one of the first texts you read will be the Usul Awaliya. And when you look at that text, you will find worship. Then the next thing, they are talking about who is in Allah. They are talking about the rules of Sharia. So that prepares the student for Islamic law. Now, at the basic level, we have diploma in law, Islamic law. We have LLB, Sharia. We have LLB combined, and we have BA Sharia. Now, I said LLB Sharia. I met a scholar from South Africa who went to International University of Medina. And when I saw his CV, he wrote BA Law. So I told him, I said, look, in Nigeria, what you have translated as BA Law, you translate as LLB Law. And for now, the highest level of learning as Islamic legal education in Islamic law will place people who have gone to those universities in North Africa and the Middle East. Their own education is not free from controversies. I was privileged to have conversations with two prominent grandparents. One Kwara State, another one Katsina State. I asked, why are you not appointing this class of persons as bodies? Their response was similar. They said that the way they have learned Islamic law is not the way makes it difficult for them to apply Islamic law in Nigeria. And I was like, I didn't understand. So he said, we follow the Maliki Mazhab here. And that this is not what they have land exclusively. So that is the problem. And if you ask me, you know they appoint people with such qualifications now. I now understand the fears of those who grant credits. I did a study. Maybe it is not for this case. On the judgments passed by judges of different educational background in the Sharia Court of Appeal. Those who have Islamic studies, review Islamic studies, those who have LLB from Middle East, North Africa, those who have combined law, their judgments are different. So that's the second part that I said I'm not too sure that I can discuss it articulately today. Then there's BA Sharia that is emerging. And the Honorable did mention in his paper at WASU, that the problem with that certificate is that it's not recognized by the law school, and that the prospects, job prospects for such graduates are rather narrow. Further reflection. This morning, what I was thinking, just occurred to me that, okay, if you have BA Sharia from Department of Islamic Studies, why don't you go for the India? The 2-year remedial program is organized for people who graduate from non-Commonwealth countries. And after that, go to the law school and qualify as a barrister. So then we have types and levels of Islamic legal education. You have vocational level. The Nigerian law school, vocational, professional. There is nothing in the law school that I went that says anything at all about Islamic law. I understand now that they do some bits of civil procedure in the Sharia Court of Appeal. They have added to the curriculum. Now, the third level, actually, the other be the fourth level, is postgraduate education. And this is a very important level. You have masters, you have PhD. Now, when you talk about masters, maybe it's time that we should have specialized masters in aspects of Islamic law. I know that I did the UK. They have something in banking and finance. Somebody who graduated from here came to me that he wants to do masters in banking and finance. So when I looked at the website, I discovered that the course is mandated by the Department of, not by Faculty of Law. Let me just put it that way. And when I look at the curriculum, it's mixed, kind of. Now, we need to revisit all levels. There is the final level I want to talk about, judicial training. Unlike the common law, you need to be trained to be a Sharia judge. And in the absence of training, judicial training, is noticeable in our courts. Look at Shefia's case. The person who does not have judicial training, he has read only the few texts. And the Shefia's case, judges at the lower courts rely on the Maliki text position, Mu'atta, that says that if a woman is pregnant and not married, that is proof of zina. The reason was that if you are married, it is not pregnancy that will tell you. Our complaint about being raped will have preceded. So now, our judges, they have the highest level of legal education, Islamic legal education they have. This is at Islamic level. Very few will move to Muqtasar level. And they convicted. There are many issues which somebody with judicial training will consider. They won't consider it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we need training for our judges, those who will administer Sharia. And when Sharia came post 1999, one of the reasons that became, I don't want to say failed, disappeared or whatever, is that the states that adopted Sharia and established Sharia courts simply discovered that there are no capable hands to man the courts. So they rely on the existing area court judges. So I want to mention, I said judicial training, and I want to mention the case. Remember Pipe Post case? That was the case where it was decided that lawyers have the right of audience in the Sharia courts of appeal. They have reviewed the case in at least two papers. What I'm concerned about, that judgment is that the lawyer for the respondent did not contest the appeal. The lawyer conceded, and by conceding, many vital issues were left unsaid. It's like the absolute judgment in the industrial court. ASU did not file a defense when there are arguable issues. So the government had a field day. So in Pico's case, one of the lost opportunities was that the court held that lawyers appear under the rules of Legal Practitioners Act and the rules of professional conduct. In other words, they are not appearing governed by rules of Sharia. Sharia has its own rules governing appearance in court, representative appearance in court. So that is one lost opportunity. The area court rules says that if the case relates to Islamic personal law, the case should proceed according to Islamic law and procedure. So if you are using Islamic law and procedure, how can it be governed by the Legal Practitioners Act and the rules of Legal Practitioners Professional Conduct? I should thought that they should have governed by the rules of Sharia. Now, one important distinction between the two is that traditionally, lawyers were not there in Sharia courts. The lawyers are a new development entirely. But it has always been allowed to have a legal agent. It's just an agent. It stands in the place of the client. So, it's not an officer of the court. It doesn't have a special place in the court. Now, lawyers have a special place. So, I just want to say that that is one lost opportunity which should be revisited. Another issue in Pico's case was who is qualified to do ijtihad. The Court of Appeal said any judge can exercise ijtihad by looking to the original sources themselves. Now, traditionally, what we have learned in Islamic law is that ideally you appoint a mujtahid as a judge. But mujtahids are not there. So the Mokoli you appoint. But the Mokoli follows the Mujtahid, follows text, established text, the mashur of his school, of his master. He doesn't follow his own opinion. So those are two things that bothers me about those case. Now, I've reached the section where I'm not too sure that I'm organized. So, you have to bear with me. I will jumble things up a bit. I want to ask, we already have an idea of where we are. Where do we want to be? And I want to make maybe 5 or 4 propositions. Number 1, we want competent Islamic legal education. What I mean by competent is that the sort of Islamic legal education that will follow the Islamic system rather than the Western system. We want professionalization of Islamic legal education. It is, I think the time is right for the appointment, for the establishment of the Sharia Bar, of the Council for Islamic Legal Education. But as I said, another option is to establish a professional body for Islamic law. Then, the third factor or the third feature issue is that we want to make Islamic legal education responsive to contemporary needs. We all know, imagine fields like Islamic finance, etc. We want to have trained personnel who are competent to handle these affairs. Then we need to rethink our postgraduate studies, LLM programs, and I should think that it is difficult when you to accept some of the theses or essays that students, scholars in Islamic law in Nigeria write about. There was a time a student presented a seminar, and I asked, can the students do ijtihad and on this issue? This is an issue that doesn't have clear text. Can a scholar, PhD thesis, delve into such issues? I should think that the preference should be for empirical research. In other words, rather than theoretical. In other words, assess the level of compliance with Islamic law by the courts. Look at our cases decided by Nigerian courts. Analyze them. Are they consistent with Islamic law, properly speaking? The society, are we compliant with Islamic law? I think these are some of the research that can be done at postgraduate level. Again, they can do comparative law. When you do comparative law, you are comparing. You are not going to the field of ijtihad. You are comparing already existing positions. And lastly, I want to say that we should encourage annotated translations of classical texts by our postgraduate students. I know it's done in Islamic studies, but I'll still talk about Islamic studies and Sharia education. My friend Alaro is into translation. That would be a useful contribution. So I'm looking at PhDs. Now we focus on things like that. As I've said, it's done in Islamic studies, but I want the Faculty of Law to acquire it. And where we want to be, I think the last thing I have here is judicial training. We need to have. I have things like challenges. What are the challenges that we face? Anytime you do Islamic, anything Islamic, within the Western civilization, there are already inherent problems. And one of the reasons is that the language of discourse differs. When you discuss Islamic law in English, you have lost at least 25% of meanings. And you are open to misinterpretations. For example, how do you translate usul al-fiqh? You call it Islamic jurisprudence. It can't be that. It's closer to methodology than jurisprudence. And this is the very idea of law differs. If you look at the text, like Risala, you find introductory chapters dealing with things like Greek, Akida. You find worship. You find the 5 pillars of Islam discussed. You find marriage. Now, for law in the Western sense, the first one was Greek, Akida, and what? I forgot. And Ibadah. They are not part of law. So it is strange when you tell a common law lawyer that this is law, part of what Islamic law should encompass. Now, we have other problems. Even within ourselves, we have internal crisis of methodology. How do you teach Islamic law? People have written about this one, different suggestions. And it is something we have to think about. You know, I was talking about people who studied in Saudi Arabia, for example, and the issue of Maliki Mazhab in Nigeria. So these are internal crises that we have. Then I want to say that there is a consensus among Muslim scholars that stakeholders that the combined law is not satisfactory. People who started combined law, they started when it does not exist. So the urgent thing then was to have a program, combined law. And they struggled to develop the Islamic law component of the combined law. You find, I can count like 9 textbooks written by Prof. Dubai. When they are asked, why did you write that? He said, when you are starting off, Common Law said that the Islamic law side of combined law is not viable because all these topics are unknown to Islamic law. So you have to develop textbooks so that those programs can take off. So these are some of the challenges that we have. And I also ask, way forward. I think this is section like this. I think it's just fluctuating, jumping from this topic to another topic. Now, I want to point out some of the tensions and confusion in Islamic legal education in Nigeria. One, for example, look at the competition between the Department of Islamic Studies and the Department of Islamic Law. As far as I know, many of those departments in Nigerian universities are not on talking terms. Yes or no? They are not on talking terms. They have relationships. When they need the external examiner, in the Islamic studies, they call Professor Zubair, call Professor Alaro, call Professor Abika. Apart from that, no other interaction. And when we two meet, we call Dr. Abami, we call Aya Imam. Apart from that, that's the only interaction that I think those departments have. And I was suggesting to the PG Sopin last week, I said, look, it is bad that a University of Ilorin, the whole University of Ilorin, we do not have standard translation schemes for Arabic. So when you look at thesis emanating from Islamic studies, emanating from Islamic law, you find all sorts of translation. I say this is not good enough. We should have a standard translation system. Now, departments of Islamic studies are starting BA Sharia, BA Islamic law. If you ask me, I would say that I prefer their own syllabus to what we have in combined law. Their own syllabus, what I mean by syllabus, that follows the traditional pattern described by Professor Zubair in his inaugural lecture. Pattern of they use in North Africa, they use in the Middle East. I prefer that pattern. For me, I think that's the only way to learn Islamic law. You go the traditional way, you read texts. And so, but as I've said, they will have problems with employment. So I want to see a more closer relationship between the departments of Islamic law and Islamic studies. I should say that when people in Islamic studies do Sharia, they are not normally happy. Because the Islamic studies, Nigerian Islamic studies department, has been polluted by Orientalism. And bulk of the things they do to find this imprint of Orientalism there. But that notwithstanding, I think that for Sharia specialization, both departments need to work together. Then the next question I have is, what do we do with the combined law program? We know that combined law, a certificate in combined law, does not necessarily make you an expert in Islamic law. You don't need any hardship at all to have first class in Islamic law. I remember somebody, it's my friend though, taught this set in Islamic law, but couldn't stay in Islamic law department as a lecturer because of the wants of Arabic language. So I would say that the combined law program, we need to review what we have presently. I must say that I, together with Alhaji Waike Saad, drafted the combined law program for this university. Luckily for us, Professor Zubair came a year later and corrected our mistakes, our lapses. And I remember that I taught Islamic law of crimes to the forces. There was nobody on ground. In fact, the four set of people in the Department of Sharia, Islamic law, in the faculty, we went to beg with most of them from, we went to the houses to beg them. I remember going, begging Alaro Writing's house to come and join because they are the ones. And when there are no lecturers, the program cannot survive. So, we want to ask about one important issue too. Our graduates in Sharia from other countries who are doing remedial program, is it the best for us? What I mean for us, Muslim Ummah, is it best? I have my worries that if you study common law before you now study Sharia law, you will discover that the Sharia will have much influence on you than the common law. So, those of us who have such experience, you can see we keep going to the Sharia because we have confidence in the Sharia. We appreciate the Sharia. My friend, Dr. Tani, who decamped from the Department of Common Law to Department of Islamic Study, Law. When I heard, I was very happy for him. I said, Joe, alhamdulillah. He had to sacrifice promotion opportunities. Because when he got to Islamic law, our Babas there, they were asking him, your papers are not in Sharia. They are not, they are in common law. So more or less, he had to start again. And when I asked him, discussed it with him, I was very happy with his enthusiasm. This is what you expect from somebody. It's also surprising to me, really. This is the passion you expect from somebody who went from common law to Islamic law. Let us look at the reverse journey. An expert in Sharia going to leave common law, I think it's a major setback intellectually. It's a major setback. Some of our colleagues that complete the program, when they told me they are going to do remedial, I always, the same thing I said to all of them, I said, look, I see benefits for you personally in this venture, but I don't see benefits for us as Muslim people at all. What it means is that you now translate to the legal practitioner. And I'm not in practice. I struggle to think that some of those graduates do not go to court to argue cases. So it's, you see, I don't want to say Western program, those who do not want Islamic law, that's a great achievement for them because they are turning legal practitioners into experts in Islamic law. For example, in Kwara State today, you cannot be appointed an area court judge if you are not called to the bar. That's another major setback. It means those who have Islamic studies and are no longer appointed. They used to be appointed. I did a study. I compared the Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal in year 2000 with Sharia Court of Appeal in year 2020. You know that they started Justice Ambali, may Allah be pleased with him. He said that when they started Sharia annual reports, he said they are not doing all reports. He knew what he was doing because he did not want to entrench judicial precedents in the Sharia court. The next now, annual reports have become law reports. And When I looked at the qualifications, the education background of those bodies, the conclusion is clear. When a Sharia man becomes a common law expert, then it becomes true common law. I'm sure Professor Zubair had explained this all over and over again. One of the strongest opponents of the Sharia, they are not non-Muslims. They are Muslim lawyers. The strongest opposition. I remember I met somebody in NBA conference 2006, so they are about Lebanon. No one is saying, come and look at this. What the rubbish they are doing. They want Sharia courts of appeal to have jurisdiction on the Sharia penal code. So I asked them, what is wrong with it? They said, no, we contest it. We won't allow it. Ironically, this same person eventually became a court. So you see, it's anytime I see him, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I just remember that those conversations. So thank you very much. I'm struggling to find something to say before. I said 5 minutes more. Justice Guajo, excellent scholar, PhD Islamic law. He said in his paper, a paper delivered at annual judges conference. He said lawyers are the greatest enemy because of professional rivalry. Now, these are two distinct legal systems. The more you enhance, promote Islamic law, the more they are afraid about their own profession. So the master stroke is this legal program. Now the people make Islamic experts lawyers too. So they now have a united interest with other lawyers. The question I asked again, is it really possible to mix the learning of Sharia and common law? Is it really possible? What I'm saying, asking this is that if you are familiar, if you know something little about those two laws, you will find that it's difficult to combine them in your head at the same time, learning them together. In the sense that the methodologies are different, everything is different. But because you have analyzed Islamic law, we feel it's okay. The average, talk to any combined law student, 500 level, ask him an Islamic law question. Before you realize this, is giving you a common law discussion. Common law is easier. It's easier to learn common law. That is why those who do Nigeria, if they have English language proper, they pass easily. Because learning the Sharia is not easy. Look at Imam Malik, look at the Aima of the Mazhabs. Look at them. By age of 11, 7, they have mastered the Quran. By 12, they have committed to work memory 3,000 hadiths, 100,000 hadiths. It's not easy. But common law is easy. So, let me see. Another challenge, really, is that we should think what kind of education should we give the judges operating the Sharia in Nigeria. I want to say that when you say judges operating the Sharia in Nigeria, they are talking about area judges, Sharia court judges, and the lower courts. When it gets to superior court, they are talking about the high court. Apart from matters of Islamic law, personal law that goes to the Sharia Court of Appeal, all other matters go to the High Court. That is why, apart from Islamic personal law, the Sharia is going in Nigeria. Because there is many of the litigants will not be happy that their cases will end up at the High Court. When you get to the Court of Appeal, you have a special panel for Islamic personal law. This is another interesting thing. I've done a study on administration of Islamic personal law in the Court of Appeal. And like I see, notice that judges have competition. Who is an Islamic expert? Who should be a member of Sharia panel? But one thing is clear: when judges are appointed to the Court of Appeal, there is no judge who is appointed with special designation as also expert in Sharia. So it means all the judges are getting the same appointments, and it's the president of the court or the presiding judge of the court of the division that assigns Islamic law personal cases. I've seen instances where you don't Muslims have on many Sharia cases. Incidentally, I had the opportunity to discuss with the presiding judge. He was not happy when I mentioned it. He said he loves Islam. What about qualification in Islam? Even those who are qualified in courts, what's their qualification? They did combined law, or they are not making. 1999 Constitution, for the first time, specifically made lawyers appointed who to the Sharia Court of Appeal. And at the Court of Appeal, there is still no criteria, no parameters at all. Remember that under the Nigerian Constitution, expertise in Islamic law is decided by the NJC, National Judicial Council. And at this council, how many representatives of Sharia are there? Now I think you have that council where you won't have anybody who's just Sharia, has only just Sharia qualifications. Now the preference is that it's combined people who are called to the bar, that are appointed into the council. So you do not have anybody who is 100% Islamic law education who is on the council. Then the Sharia Court of Appeal that is member of the council is appointed, only one I think, appointed in rotation every 2 years. He leaves, another one is appointed. So why not that going to the court are conversant about what has gone? The new candidate is coming in is afresh. They tell no, you are not there when we do this. And when he starts understanding, he leaves, another freshman comes in. So I will leave you with the question: how do we professionalize Islamic legal education? As I've said, I have not come to lecture. I've come to raise issues that we should be thinking about. And I don't think to have solutions. It is enough for me to just deliver the message. And I hope that the Muslim Ummah of Nigeria will do something about these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for that. He's a very lovely man. Yes, they can do better. Please, let's keep on clapping. Thank you so much. We appreciate this time. Thank you so much. That was a very beautiful word. From the introduction to the literature review, historical background, and then his thoughts. And he said that he won't be able to provide some of these solutions. And then he leaves some of these thoughts to some of our Islamic law scholars. Thank you so much for that wonderful discussion. Yes, before we proceed to the interlude, I have the singular honor to recognize the eminent presence of the Dean of the Faculty of Physical Science Professor Alaro, ably represented by Professor Mrs. Adeneke. Thank you so much now. Also, we recognize the presence of Dr. Abukadi, the Surgeon of Faculty of Law. We call him Sasede. Yes, he called us Marita in England, Sasede this passing. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Likewise, we recognize the presence of my legal advisor, Dr. Mrs. Barakat Laji. Thank you so much for coming. Likewise, we recognize the presence of Dr. Edith Solomshaw, popularly known as Dr. Sadat. And also, we recognize the presence of Dr. Mrs. Ibalui on Jurisprudence and International Law. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, and I have to say that honor, and we are doing this for the honoree. I want to invite the recognized university scholar of Combino, Scholar Mubarak Awadi, to come and give us the portion of the Quran. Please, put your hands together to find this. Beautiful recitation. We can do better, please. Yeah. It's a time for me to recommend those scholars. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون تجري من تحتها الأنهار أكلها دائم وظلها تلك عقبى الذين اتقوا وعقبى الكافرين النار. والذين آتيناهم الكتاب يفرحون بما أنزل إليك ومن الأحزاب من ينكر بعضه قل إنما أمرت أن أعبد الله ولا أشرك به إليه أدعو وإليه مآب. وكذلك أنزلناه حكما عربيا ولئن اتبعت أهواءهم بعدما جاءك من العلم ما لك من الله من ولي ولا واق. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن.
That was beautiful. Please let us put together for it. It's not as easy. Yes, we use that for us to recognize the presence of the Chief Imam of the University of Illinois, Professor of the Sadat. Please let us put together for it. Please, we can recognize him too with our winner. Thank you.
نعم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما يعرف الفضل لأهل الفضل بالفضل وجزاكم في سيد جزاكم الله خيرا for joining us. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for that. The next thing on the agenda is to have an interactive session, and this will be handled and directed by the chairman of the occasion, the Lord Honorable Abu Gafar. Thank you so much, sir.
In this section, we will invite questions and comments So when you are called upon to comment, you introduce yourself and ask your question or make your comment. Yes. Professor Biko.
The chairman of this occasion, please permit me to adopt the established protocol. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We want to appreciate the guest lecturer and congratulate the honoree of today on this very important topic. It was an in-depth discussion, and I have just a few comments to make, particularly on the area of BA Sharia mounted by the Department of Islamic Studies compared with the program or curriculum of combined law. I want to agree with the speaker on the content of BA Sharia of being more in-depth than the curriculum of LLB combined. So it's like an irony. Somebody will have an in-depth learning that is not recognized into the legal profession. And somebody, in fact, who found himself or herself in combined law because he couldn't get admission in common law, and he was not or is not interested at all in anything having to do with Sharia, but just to have admission and have, because he or she knows that after the degree, that is bye-bye to Sharia. Or interest is common law, but just to get admission. Now, looking at this, I was at Alaro University recently for the application of their BA Sharia program, and you look at the content, and you say, this is what I want for my program, common law and Islamic law. So the issue now is, there is this political will. Now these people will not be admitted into the remedial program that is suggested for them. The Council of Education will block it because of the professional rivalry, not interested in the growth of Sharia. So if you have to look at the content, it should have been easy to allow these people to do remedial and go to the law school and become to the back. But political will not be there. That's why. Even in our own program, combined law, I had the privilege to draw the program of Alima. And when we were designing that program, I enlisted 2 other persons to join me. And we downloaded the curriculum of the Islamic University of Medina, Cairo. We gather all this curriculum and see how far we can move ahead of what we have now. So that we can have an improved content of Sharia learning in our program. Again, political way. Immediately I left that place to return here, that curriculum was cancelled and it was reverted back to what we used to have here. So I think it's a serious dilemma that we should continue to think about. And like you said, it's quite unfortunate. The people who are grounded in Islamic law, having studied where they have this opportunity. I look at their program in Saudi Arabia, in each level, you must have memorized Quran to a certain stage. So before you finish your LLB Sharia, you have memorized all of the Quran. Can you introduce such here? We have looked at several alternatives and made proposals, but the political will not allow you to start. For instance, I know of a university, after you finish your LLB Common Islamic Law, if you want to go further in Sharia, before you are awarded your certificate, you do additional years in the same university, specializing purely in Sharia. And you come out with a certificate to certify that even though you do common combined law, you have had further learning in Islamic law to make you a Sharia scholar. Now, my suggestion, Madam Oba, I think you are with me. Leaders in this profession, and my understanding of interaction with people in decision-making level, you know, madam, we have to be there to decide who come in. I will be glad to have our Omori of today to become DJ of the Nigerian Law School. Inshallah. Because these people take a lot of decisions because they are there. I think if some of us are also had the opportunity of being there, but again, like you said, somebody who had this training of our own program is aspiring to improve Sharia. Wallahi, unfortunately, those who have grounded knowledge in Sharia, they want to be more identified with common law when they are going through the other program. So even we cannot be so sure that even when they get there, they will not be promoting common law. Allah,
that was a beautiful one.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, the first is that I'm Shita A. Olapade Esquire. I graduated from this university in the year 2007. I read from Bible. I'm not here for a postgraduate program. My opinion is that before things can be properly done in Nigeria, in respect of Islamic legal education and some other species of education, then our value system must be properly addressed. The value system must be properly addressed. So the Islamic scholars and Islamic leaders have a lot of things to do towards orientating the Muslims in the area of Islamic legal education. Maybe I should try to, I don't know if I'm understood. Money, the desire of many people that are studying law these days is money. And the so-called money is technically residing at the breast or at the chest of common law. Yes, that's why some people that study combined will have to diversify to common law after having graduated from the university. Because they are very much interested in money but not in knowledge. So if we want the people that are said to be antagonists of Islamic legal education, Professor Oba, God might continue to protect him on high. He says sometimes when some people are trying to advocate for Islamic law, the people that will antagonists will be the people that are even learning in Islamic law or Islamic education. The reason is that those people have lost the standard value that they should have. Those people are now worshiping money instead of knowledge. This is not about Islamic law alone. It's general. People love money more than they love education. So our leaders should start from there, orientating us and the people that are younger than we have as regards love for knowledge, love for Islamic education better than the love for money. If that is taken care of, and what we need, the number of enemies and targets we have in case Islamic legal education will be to the minimum. That's the first thing. And the second thing is this. Islamic law, I'm very sorry that I'm about to say this. I'm very sorry that I'm about to say this. I'm not a scholar, but I'm not a dullard. Yes, I'm not. My seniors are here, what my seniors here with me, and my mates, they know. But sometimes Islamic law department pushes its students down fact. That's the fact. Sometimes it happens, not only the University of Ilorin, but some other universities. And these people sometimes feel that if I was a common law student, I would have graduated with first class. I would have graduated with 2-1, but now I graduate with 2-2. And that creates a kind of fear in the mind of the person to proceed in the area of Islamic law. It's not about clapping. The need that the fire department has to encourage the people to believe that they can do combined law and progress. They can do combined law and have good grades. Not that if you do combined law, you have to want the person that is not as knowledgeable as they were when the university graduated is first class. I can say it authoritatively, I'm Shita, my mate at 2007 said, they know what, there's nothing they will teach me in class that will not grab. But you'll be forced down. So it creates a kind of fear, phobia in the minds of the students instead of them to progress to the level of early with the Sharia, the level of PhD with Sharia. We think that there might be some people out there that will force me down to have something I'm not expecting to have. So we have to address that as well. May God write it for you to take on that.
मैं तो वहाँ गिरे थे
call of duty to explain some issues, especially of these BA law, combined law, and a special program with well, alhamdulillah, all these programs I have opportunity to be called upon to draft most of them. Combined law, as the guest speaker mentioned, has political problem. And when it was established, that is the minimum, or that is the maximum they can allow us to operate at that time. Nevertheless, I don't know whether the enemy that were there in that time was still there till today. There has never been an improvement. The BA law was seen as alternative to run away from the yoke that the combined law found itself. By having BA law, the purpose is for that Sharia law itself to develop on its own, so that the problem of legal restrictions will not be on them at all. And since we give power to that Sharia court, and when we were deciding it, we make sure that it is fully well Sharia oriented. What they need in Arabic were put there for them. What they need in Sharia were put there for them. Alhamdulillah, if it has started running, and we believe that it will go well. The issue is that as Professor Abika mentioned, that yes, those who are qualified were not given the license to practice. But I think they should know from the beginning that they are not prepared for practice. And it's a matter of saying they are sacrificing for the Sharia. They are not prepared to come out to say that they are lawyers. I am very satisfied with the BA Sharia when we are preparing. Why? This is because at the beginning when we are preparing combined honor, we have at our mark that these people, when they are coming out, they will be pro-Sharia, promoting Sharia. But after 5 or 10 years, no traces for them in our society. All of them are champions of the common law. If we can have a new program that will prepare Sharia people free from all these legal restrictions, then it's better for us as a society, as a woman. So we won't have problem of saying that, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Maybe by the next generation, I pray if they can fight their way and get all this right back without compromising. That's it. The second point I want to refer to, as the guest speaker said, that those who are doing remedial courses, we are afraid that they may do that. Well, I don't think that is where they are afraid to see. It's a strong time to say that it is our value system that we should change. Anybody who has gone because of the duplicative aspect of it, there's nothing you can tell if you're looking for the money. I am happy for the honoree of today. After coming back from the DL course, he gave a lecture. The people came back to inform me that what he said is not different from what I've been told them in the class about the common law. And I'm happy. We don't expect that everybody will change. I haven't been here. And then we come to definitely the fear is there. The fear is there. If we are producing, at least by now, like I say, combined law should have produced more than 1 million. Why did I say this? We've got it since 1978. Calculate 1978 to this time. So you can see, and how many are we producing every year? At least, if you are producing 1,000, then we should have produced more than that. what is their impact on the society? That is the major question for us to answer. So I think the bottom line of the problem is that until we change our value system, nothing can change in our attitude. So if we see that this education is for means to our livelihood, then Sharia will have no place. Because if you want to practice Sharia, you have to prepare for sacrifice. And we see so many people who go for Sharia, they are sacrificing. They will see so many things, they will call them for many other things that they will bring so better things for them when they will close their eyes in order that they want to sacrifice for them. Thank you.
Yes, now it's students.
Thank you very much, sir. And with your kind permission, I would like to start the already existing protocol. My name is Alaro, I'm a 500 level student of Common and Islamic Law. I have a question, sir. First, it has been established that Islamic law is a distinguished and distinct source of law that has been settled in Akamawa against Bill by the Supreme Court. However, by Section 10 of the Constitution, it is settled that Nigeria is a secular state and we have no state religion. Okay, so my question is that, considering the topic, revisiting Islamic legal education in Nigeria, definitely we are talking about Islamic legal education in all spheres of the academics. Now, in the University of London as it is, we have Islamic law in 100 level. Then my question is, even non-Christians, non-Muslims rather, and non-combined law students, people who have applied to study common law. For those who have applied to study combined law, of course, they are having Islamic law. But non-Muslims are being compelled to study Islamic law in 100 level. And even in 300 level, there is also a course that is studying Islamic law. Now, my question is, how is this not infringing on their rights? Considering that Islamic law is a distinct source of law, and those that are studying common law know what they were doing when they applied to study common law. Thank you very much.
That is the fear of some of these non-Muslims.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I thought we had moved past this stage. So anytime I hear this question again, I'm baffled. Number one, Section 10 does not say Nigeria is a secular state. The last time I checked, it says the state should not adopt any religion as state religion. It doesn't mention secularism. If you go to law and religion, secularism is like this. From east and west, white west. So they are grades. Professor called Local, he was very learned. If you read his article, he mentioned about 10 states of relation between states and religion. Theocratic state one side, secular and religious states. So I want to say that the Constitution does not say that one. Rather, the Constitution recognizes what the religious plural nature of the country. If you check the Constitution, Sharia Court of Appeal is recognized. Islamic personal law is defined by the Constitution. So now, I'm surprised. I'm not happy about terminology. Compared to learn. If I want to reply like that, I will say that for more than 100 years, Muslims have not only been compelled to learn common law, which has basis in Christianity, but they have also been compelled to obey it. let me give you a good example. The Honorable Justice Bashir Wali, he started as an Islamic law expert, and he was at the Sharia Court of Appeal as a Qadi. His lordship was content to retire as a Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal. But when the 1979 Constitution came, and they created a special panel for Islamic personal law, he was dragged into the court. He didn't want to go because he's not interested in common law. So he ended up as the Justice of Court of Appeal, trying common law cases that he's not interested in. Eventually, he ended up at the Supreme Court, trying customary common law cases that he's not interested in. If we really want to have a settled nation, I always say that one of the problems in Nigeria is that we do not have foundations yet. Muslims will be happy if you separate Sharia common law. You find many Muslims won't go to common law at all. So it is not, and I want to say something, from the earliest time till now, you won't find Muslims imposing Sharia on God. There is nothing for Muslims to gain by asking non-Muslims to do Sharia. No. But remember that the Sharia Court of Appeal that does Islamic personal law, lawyers of all shades appear there, all religious persuasions. I did a study of layers in the Sharia Court of Appeal, and I interviewed 2 lawyers, non-Muslims, who frequent the court. They were impressed by the court. But this opposition, this enmity, will get us nowhere. So I would say from the earliest times, Muslims do not impose Sharia on non-Muslims. Even at the era of Sokoto Caliphate, they do not. It was when colonial people came. Now they created area courts, native courts, with alcalis, and the alcalis were forced to adjudicate on non-Muslim affairs. So I would say that if Muslims can be free of Sharia, common law, non-Muslims too can be free of it, but the thing is that you ask somebody who's opposed to Sharia, you ask him, what is he doing in Sharia court as an advocate? Is it Abuji or what? It's Abuji. A friend of mine, who had Central Mosque, Odia. Then he saw a mother, this mother who sells stickers. There was one, there are many now, but there's one, Jesus is Lord there. So he spoke outside to the man, why are you saying Jesus is Lord? The man replied with only one word, Abuji. So, please, let us moderate our attitudes a bit. You get what I'm saying? Nobody is interested in it. The Sharia does not have anything to gain in applying to non-Muslims. Nothing at all. Sharia gives judicial autonomy. One of if those of us in human rights, we say that the human rights, as defined by the West, is not understandable to the Muslim mind. Because when you say freedom of religion, why are you personal affairs again? In Islam, they will allow their own families, the cultural, everything life. So I want to say that Muslims do not gain anything by forcing non-Muslims to follow Sharia. That is one answer. Another answer is that, I'm in comparative law. One of the things I like and enjoy most about comparative law is this. Let me make an assertion. And I'll ask yes or no now. All societies, from the most advanced, say like US, to the so-called most primitive, they are not different in terms of their basic challenges. Yes or no? What I mean by they are not different is that any society, we face the same problems. How do you enter into contracts? How do you organize family life? If spouses want to separate, what do they do? So what I love and enjoy most in comparative law is seeing the diversity of answers provided by different legal systems. You get what I'm saying? So as a scholar of law, it expands your horizon. When you are also common law, Islamic law, when you are familiar with civil law, for example, you compare with Islamic law, you will appreciate Islamic law. Civil law have some fundamental agreements with Islamic law when it comes to the role of judge. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the problems we have is that what level are you? 4, 5. Were you in my legal system class? One of the first things we discuss is diversity and diversity of legal systems. So I think that it is useful to learn about Islamic law, other legal systems, to expand the mind. So I'm not talking about which one is superior. I'm just asking, know the range of experiences that human beings have, solutions they have advanced for the same problem. So thank you very much.
That was a wonderful one. We continue to learn from the words of experience, sir. My Lord, if you grant me things, Mr. Now said he has something to say. Just be sharing it. All right, thank you so much, sir, for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I simply want to make a few comments on the question raised by the students in 500 level. The comment will be from two perspectives. The first is in the perspective of education, curriculum integration. Some of these things are introduced basically for students to be exposed to some other things apart from what they major in. So when students come to do, and the concept of curriculum integration itself is to let us have a touch with the reality and what is like the local demand and some other trends that are going on in one particular environment. So Nigeria is a pluralistic state, a legal pluralistic state where 3 laws coexist. It's necessarily calls for the reason to include introduction to Islamic law for all students of law at 100 level. The second perspective is from law and religion perspective. I think one of the long-held misinformation is that Nigeria is a secular state. There's a concept known as religious-state relationship as a theme in law and religion discourse generally. To say a state is secular, one of the common trend globally, the constitution of that state will clearly mention it that the state is secular. There are many examples of that around the world. The least that scholars have said about the status of Nigeria is that Nigeria is a state of religious neutrality. That is the least. Even one Prof, that is like a colossus, a constitutional law in Nigeria, concluded that Nigeria is a state of religious neutrality. However, we keep asking the question that if we claim that Nigeria is a state of religious neutrality and we see the clear approval or endorsement of government of religious activity, do we still continue to say it's a state of religious neutrality? In Constitution, there's a mention, in the preamble, there's a mention of God, which clearly indicates that Nigerian people are religious and they show commitment towards godliness. In the Constitution, there's a mention of Sharia Court of Appeal. So some of these things are clear indications that we can't keep saying it is secular. Of course, I've said it is wrong. Then again, we can't keep sustaining the argument that it is a state of religious neutrality with the realities we are facing in the country. And I think on that note, I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alaro. Now, we are quickly moving to the next thing on the agenda. And this will be handled by a Faculty of Law student, Hamza. We want to see some comments and commentaries about the honoree. Please, a quick one, please.
Professor Alaro, an exemplary teacher and a scholar of international respect. Professor Alaro is a mentor, is a teacher and a role model. But not only more than 30 years ago, as a teacher, and has been teaching me until now. I benefited from his fountain of knowledge. Professor Alaro is a role and mission. Professor Alaro, as all know him,
It's 13:44.
I Lord